Let's talk about something every single language learner runs into. How do you make new vocabulary actually stick? Well, today we're going to go way beyond just memorizing definitions. We're going to find a way to truly master new words. You know that feeling, don't you? You look up a new word, you read the definition, you think, okay, got it, and then a week later, poof, it's gone. Or even worse, you try to use it and it just sounds off. So why does that happen? Because a simple dictionary definition, it's just not enough.
But what if I told you there's a better way? A structured method you can use to break down any word you find. A way to turn that frustrating cycle of memorizing and forgetting into real, actual mastery. Well, there is, and we're about to walk through it.
All right, this is it. This is our master key for today, the 5-step vocabulary framework. So step 1 is simple meaning and usage. We start with the basics, a clear, simple definition. Then step 2 is the word family. We look at related words, like nouns or adjectives, to see all its connections. Step 3, we dig into phrasing to see what common prepositions it hangs out with. Step 4 is all about common examples, so we can see how the word actually works in the real world. And finally, my favorite, step 5, deeper context. This one is so important for understanding the social and emotional feel of a word. This is going to be our guide for everything we look at today. Okay, so let's put this framework to the test, shall we? We're going to start with verbs, the words of action and change, and see how this method really helps us nail down the small but super important differences between them. Let's kick things off with a group of words that can be pretty confusing: pivot, rotate, and revolve. On the surface, they all kind of mean to turn, right? Well, yeah, but not really. The way they turn is totally different, and our framework is going to show us exactly how. Let's take the word pivot. Using step 1, the simple meaning is just to turn on a fixed central point. Think of a door swinging on its hinges. Simple enough. But then we hit step 4, common examples, and that unlocks a whole new level. You'll hear things like, the company had to pivot its strategy. They're not physically turning, right? It's a sharp, decisive change in direction, all while keeping their core business the same. See the difference? Now, how about another action word, propagate? The core meaning here is to spread or to multiply. And what's so cool about this word is how that one simple idea works in totally different areas. We can propagate ideas by talking about them, we propagate plants by taking cuttings, and we propagate sound waves through the air. In every single one of those examples, something is spreading out and multiplying from a single source.
All right, let's switch gears and move on to nouns. Because with nouns, oh man, it is all about context. We're going to see how the same framework helps us navigate some of the trickiest parts of English, especially words that really depend on the social situation you're in.
Okay, now for a set of words that a lot of learners find confusing. They're all insults, sure, but can you just swap them out for each other? No way. Using the wrong one can get you into some really awkward situations. So how in the world do you tell them apart? This is where step 5, deeper context, becomes absolutely essential. Just look at this table. We might call someone a jerk for a specific, selfish thing they did, like cutting in line. It's a pretty mild offense. But calling someone an asshole? That's a lot stronger. That's an insult about their entire, fundamentally unpleasant character. And then there's bastard, which is the most complicated of the three. As you can see, its level of offense can change a lot, because depending on your tone and who you're talking to, it can be a really harsh insult, or, weirdly, a term of affection between good friends. Context is everything. This same idea of being specific applies to much less colorful words, too. Just take these parts of the face. They're all in the same general area, but they are not the same thing at all. The jaw is the whole bone structure. The chin is that specific point right at the front. The cheeks are the soft, fleshy parts on the sides, and a jowl specifically refers to the loose skin on the lower part of the cheek. See? Precision really matters. All right, let's move on to the words that give our language its flavor, its color, its feeling, adjectives. These words are all about nuance, and our framework is the perfect tool for sorting them all out. So, let's tackle another tricky group: erotic, sensual, and sexual. Let's start with erotic. The key word to remember here is arouse. Erotic art, or a piece of writing, or a scene in a movie, is specifically made to create feelings of sexual desire. Now compare that with sensual. This word is so much broader. It's all about pleasing any of our 5 senses: touch, taste, smell, sight, or sound. The feeling of super soft velvet, the incredible taste of a perfect meal, the smell of rain on a hot day. Those are all sensual experiences. They can be erotic, sure, but they absolutely don't have to be.
And finally, we have sexual. This is the most direct, almost clinical term of the three. It's about the physical act, the biology, and the instincts tied to attraction and reproduction. So here's the takeaway. Erotic is about arousal, sensual is about the senses, and sexual is about the physical reality.
And you know, this works for positive traits too. A person can be both tactful and insightful, but they're not the same thing at all. Being tactful means you're socially skilled. You know just how to say things without upsetting anyone. But being insightful means you have a really deep, clear understanding of a person or a situation. One is about communication, the other is about perception.
Sometimes, the most important thing about an adjective is just its sheer intensity. You're not just angry, you are furious. This isn't just being a little annoyed. This is powerful, white-hot, uncontrollable rage. Understanding that intensity is the whole key to using the word right. So, we've walked through verbs, nouns, and adjectives using this framework. What's the big takeaway here? I think it's pretty clear that really understanding a word is so much more than just knowing a one-line definition from a dictionary.
And this right here, this says it all. The goal is not to just have a giant list of words you've memorized. It's to build a rich web of connections for every single word, its meaning, its family, its context, its feel, so that it becomes a natural, precise tool that's just yours to use whenever you need.
So I'll leave you with this question. Your next new word, don't just learn it, master it. Take this 5-step framework, apply it, break that word down, understand its place in the world, and make it truly, completely your own.